Hello everyone and welcome back to Apple Gaming SE. This is news and opinions for January 28th through February 3rd, 2024. As always, subscriber counts. And new subscribers. Okay, so first off, I was already just excited to do this because I got 6 additional subs and I hit my goal of 80 subs. That was my new goal. I've got 20 new subscribers in the last week. 20, holy crap, my goodness. Thank you everyone, thank you so much. I mean, I appreciate you all. It feels like this is definitely a piece of the market that people have a want and a desire for. I mean, just gaming on iPhones and Macs and just talking about the culture around the expansion of gaming in this ecosystem. I just thank you all so very much for your subscriptions. And I mean, there's other great channels out there. Mac Pro Tips, Andrew Tsai, some Mac stuff, Mr. Mac Right, Mac GG. There's so many others. I'm subscribed to quite a few of them myself. And this whole idea around gaming in and on and Apple's hardware and their ecosystem is just exploding. And so just thank you all so much. Unfortunately, YouTube is doing YouTube things. I don't know who my new subs are, and the list of recent subscribers hasn't changed in a few weeks. So I can't give a shout out to everyone who has subscribed this past week, and I wish I could. But I've had a couple people comment that haven't commented on my videos before, so I'm going to give you all a shout out. The first is Mushgins, and the second is GOSIC G OLD Music. Thank you both for watching the channel and interacting with me. I appreciate you. I will continue to appreciate you. Feel free to drop a comment on any of the videos, and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. And that goes for everybody. If you're listening to this, by all means, go ahead. I would love to interact with you all. So thank you so much, very, very much for everyone. Look forward to continuing to grow the channel with your support. So into the news for this week. First one is coming from Apple Insider, titled, "Apple continues its 17-year streak of being the most admired company in the world." So first of all, I have to call out this survey. This is a survey done by Fortune. The survey is called the most desired country in the world, or company in the world, not country, company in the world, which makes us average folk think it's the most desirable company to work at. And this simply is not the case. This is a survey being run by Fortune and surveying 3,700 executives. And the votes almost exclusively are tied to market cap. So I think this is better referred to as the most desirable company to be a stockholder or an investor in, which is fair. I mean, I have all of my Apple stock that I've bought personally over the years, and when I worked at Apple, they had the employee stock purchase plan. So I'm still an investor in Apple, and it's working out good so far for me. I can't disagree with these executives who put Apple at the top. I think Apple's a great investment. So, yeah, just want to throw my cards on the table so y'all know where I'm at with it. But I also wanted to be clear that this is not a most desirable company to work at, and these titles are just, it's marketing, and marketing is just a little bit misleading sometimes. So I just kind of wanted to clear that up if you end up reading this story. Next story is coming from the Apple newsroom directly with a little additional coverage from Apple Insider. So Apple reports its first quarter results. Apple is at $119 billion for quarter one of 2024, and Apple Insider is calling it right when they say they have bounced back from the 2023 dip. So we're looking at a $2.43 billion revenue increase from the last quarter, and not everything, I can't say that. Overall, things are looking good, but there have been some drops in iPad sales, for example. Mac sales are up, wearable sales are up. The Vision Pro is a new market segment, so that has boosted their numbers quite a bit. iPhone sales are up nearly $4 billion. I know a lot of people have said, the iPhone 15 was not really that much of an improvement over the 14. The market seems to disagree. So, credit to Apple for those wins. We're looking forward to seeing what's coming up in March. Lots of rumors going around for iPads and other products. So let's keep the steam, keep the ball rolling here, keep the steam up, and let's keep this winning gravy train going there, Apple. Appreciate it. Now, before continuing with the news any further, I would be remiss if we did not immediately shift gears over to the Apple Vision Pro. It is come out. It's mostly available in stores for demos. Mrs. Gaming and I, who yesterday had the opportunity to try out the Vision Pro, or she did rather, I didn't. We were just the way scheduling worked out, we didn't really have time for both of us to do it, but I look forward to going back to my local Apple store and checking that out for sure. So, but yeah, the roundups are coming out. So this story is going to be mostly covered by Macworld. Their headline is Apple Vision Pro Reviews Roundup is a good start. Macworld has covered a lot of different opinions here, from CNBC saying that the build quality is superb. The Verge, Tom's Guide, CNET are all saying that the headset is really comfortable, but eventually it starts to weigh on you. I mean, it's a heavy device, and Mrs. Gaming would agree. When she was wearing it, she said her number one complaint was that it doesn't feel like it's balanced very well, that it is a bit front heavy, and that it sits on her nose, the bridge of her nose, just a little too much, so it doesn't make it especially comfortable. We tried playing with the adjusting the tightness of the headband. Unfortunately, we did not get the demo with the strap over the top of the head, which apparently people have reported makes the experience much better because it kind of recenters the weight as it's distributed on you. So it was a very great experience overall for her. It took her a little while to get it worked out because she does have some vision problems in her left eye. She's very much right eye dominant, so she wasn't able really to use the left lens of the Vision Pro, but Apple has built in a great set of accessibility features. The person at our store who was doing our demo did a fantastic job being patient with her and not rushing her through the setup process and making sure that we got it so it was working well for her. So shout out to the staff at my local Apple store. For real, they were great people, wonderful to interact with. They always are. Don't go down there a whole lot, but when I do, they're always a good time to talk with them. But yeah, there's basically 4K monitors on each eye, and it creates a wonderful panoramic and the things that you could see, and Apple's very proud of it, clearly. The audio is good. We could kind of hear the audio a little bit. We were a few feet away, and it was not loud in the Apple store, but the acoustics, in an area like that where it's very open and it's not super crowded, you kind of lose the audio if you're not standing immediately to the sides. That is, if you're not wearing the headset. So like a third party like me, if you're standing in front of that person, you can't hear the audio. If you're standing to their side, you can hear it a little bit, but not well. But she heard it great because that's how it's designed. So it's designed for the wearer. So yeah, the speaker buds apparently got a lot of praise as well. The Wall Street Journal has said that getting around is intuitive, even if other people in the room think you're playing a demented game of charades. So that's pretty funny. At times, the Vision Pro's eye tracking didn't respond to my movements. Adjusting the fit of the headset got things back on track, which is kind of the same thing for Mrs. Gaming. It kind of, once the headset was situated a little bit better for her, it worked really well because it could track her right eye. So yeah, it's a great experience overall. There's, some critiques that are going around, but overall it looks and feels great. And there's a lot of people who seem to think that it's a wonderful piece of technology. We didn't get a chance to try out the personas, so I'm not going to comment on it. I've seen, iJustine, MKBHD. I've seen a couple other folks with their videos of the Vision Pro and what the personas look like. It comes down to personal preference, whether you like those personas or not. Playing video games my whole life, typically I don't get too upset by virtual recreations of somebody. It's a little uncanny valley though. You can clearly tell these are not. This is not an actual person. But yeah, there's a lot of great demos, just short video demos they gave, like of the 8K 180 degree experience of climbing on a cliffside in a hot air balloon. Animals coming up to you, not moving around, but kind of interacting with 3D videos, like stereoscopic videos and photos. All of that stuff just looks amazing. Even from the outside, looking at the duplicate of what she was seeing on the iPad screen, it was just really, really wonderful. So we'll see how things continue to go. by all accounts, I covered the numbers last week. It seems like Apple is on track to hit their 400,000 sales numbers for this year. And you're going to get, as the year goes on, you're going to see new improvements and better apps come to the Vision Pro that are optimized and designed for the Vision Pro. So early indicators are that it's a success. There's a lot of hype around it, a lot of excitement. Hopefully we'll get, the Vision Air here in the next couple of years, and get the opportunity to make it a little more affordable for the average Apple user. So that would be cool. And it also helped not have something so heavy on your face, we get something a little lighter weight. But time tells all tales, and technology is only going to improve in that regard. So looking forward to it. We're going to keep an eye on everything as far as the Vision Pro goes. Keeping in with this theme, we're talking about the Vision Pro, we're going to have to talk about the first YouTube app for the Vision Pro, but it's not coming from Google. No, it's coming from the independent developer Christian Selig, who has made Juno. The app is called Juno. It is a third-party alternative viewer for YouTube, and it is now available on the Apple Vision Pro App Store. It is $4.99, and if you can afford a Vision Pro for $3,500, you can throw the guy $5 to get a native YouTube app. And just great work here by Christian Selig. He was also the one who made Apollo, the Reddit app, the alternative to Reddit, but Reddit just made it too expensive for him to continue the development and use of Apollo, so he had to shut it down, unfortunately. But Juno for YouTube is born, he says, and I think it's exciting. I think it's great. From the pictures, it looks like a really nice app, and frankly, I kind of like the frosted glass look of it. Like you could really have a wonderful. Like this more than anything feels like space age. When I think about like Star Trek, right? This is kind of what I imagine. Like you go back to the original series, it's all pastel colors and it's physical switches, and there's something, romantic about that low-tech sci-fi kind of view of the world. And then you go back to Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, and Next Generation more than anything, we have these bigger open rooms, it's well lit. You have intuitive touch interfaces that adjust based on the content being presented to you, and we're kind of now stepping into an evolution beyond that, which is while I love the old Mac OS X theme from like the Tiger days, I really love the way the frosted glass stuff looks in Vision Pro. Honestly, I'm not like super thrilled about the way Mac OS looks right now, and I haven't been since probably Snow Leopard or Lion, if I'm being honest with you. I think Panther 10.4 was the best looking Mac OS out there, but I don't think that interface would work in something like the Vision Pro. And so I have to give it credit to Apple for being this aware of where they were going with their own products down the road, that they were able to design an interface the way it is, which inspires other developers to kind of follow that design language. So credit to Apple for kind of leading people in this direction, but really credit to Christian Selig, who made Juno. Credit to him for designing such a good-looking app that really does feel like it belongs in the Vision Pro. Again, not having tried it myself, but just looking at the pictures from the outside in, I think it looks fantastic. Speaking of Star Trek, we obviously I cannot at least, forego this story. You can explore the Starship Enterprise with Apple Vision Pro, coming from Apple Insider. But the real excitement about this is that you can go to all of the ships, all of the mainline ships and locations, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, the Enterprise A, Enterprise D, things like that from the last 60 years. So you can sit at Quark's Bar, apparently. There is a multi-decade collaboration with Otoy, which is the Paramount Studios game studio. Yeah, Paramount Game. Otoy is the Paramount Game Studios. Okay, so it can be experienced, as Rod Roddenberry puts it, for years to come, which is amazing. So they've decided to put implement this in a way where users reportedly experience a 1 meter by 1 meter light field, and they are displayed at 90 frames per second in 4K resolution per eye. And it allows you to interact with these holographic objects. So it's like, it's so exciting. It's like you could live in these worlds. Now, I should caution you should not try to live in a fantasy. It's fun to visit these places. There's a little bit of escapism there, and that can be good for you to decompress and kind of get refocused on things. But don't hear what I'm not saying when I say you could live in these worlds. I'm not encouraging you to actually, disavow your real life obligations. So anyway, it's just super exciting. I personally one day cannot wait to walk the halls of the Enterprise. The Enterprise A from the original 6 movies is my favorite design of the Enterprise. I think it looks like it's like perfect in the way it's designed. It really does look like something Apple would have designed. Clean lines, white all over, little hints of black on the nacelles in a couple areas like that. So I think it's the best looking Star Trek ship there is. But there's a lot of good ones out there. So if you're a Star Trek nerd, even if you're not, it's something you could experience. See what it's like in the 24th century, 23rd and 24th century. What could be. So anyway, just exciting stuff there. I had to cover it. The last story I'm going to cover for the Apple Vision Pro says that you cannot use a Bluetooth mouse with the Apple Vision Pro. This is coming from Mac Observer. So according to a recent document that came out regarding the Apple Vision Pro, it does not support Bluetooth mice. And it should work with most Bluetooth keyboards manufactured by Apple and even other manufacturers. And also it supports Apple's Magic Trackpad. However, there is no guarantee that all third-party Bluetooth accessories and devices will be compatible with the Vision Pro, which is, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, when you look at the demos, right, of like Apple's promotional videos, you can connect your Mac and have the virtual display of your MacBook Air, MacBook Pro within the field of view like any of the other windows of the Vision Pro, which makes me think you could use the trackpad that's built into your device, which would make me think, naturally, if you had an iMac with a Bluetooth mouse, you could do that, but apparently not. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. But there's a lot of other accessories that do work. Anything that's made for iPhone, such as Xbox or PlayStation controllers, for example, work. And there's Bluetooth headsets will work. Apple obviously has said that the best experience would be to use the second generation AirPods Pro with a MagSafe charging case. Like, I don't know why the MagSafe charging case model is what matters there. But of course, Apple's going to recommend you the most expensive AirPods product that they sell. Probably is the best one, but like, why not use the Lightning or USB-C case? Anyway, it's just Apple doing Apple things, right? So, but yeah, there's a lot of other different devices, companies, Phonak, Poco, IQ Bud, more. All of their headphones will work with the Vision Pro. You just have to put the Vision Pro in pairing mode first and go to the accessibility hearing devices to get that functional. So anyway, just it was kind of a weird thing that you can't use a Bluetooth mouse with the Vision Pro. It seems like it would be something that's obvious, but clearly Apple wants people to interact with a spatial computing device in a spatial fashion, right? So anyway, yeah, that's that. And we're going to end this week the same way we ended the last 2 weeks. We were talking about Apple winning big in sales, so we're going to do the same thing. This time we're going to India. Yes, India has made it on the list. So Apple hits new India sales record as the country cuts import duty. The short version of this, the main headline, is that India has cut its import duties from 15% to 10%, amongst others, and applies to battery covers, camera lenses, and GSM antennas. So basically anything that has an import duty fee for components to build phones or any microelectronics, I think, is been reduced. There is also, at the same time, the country has reduced import duty to zero for what is described as inputs used to manufacture the components in India. So instead of using higher fees to encourage local production, the government is offering incentives to manufacture components in India. Now, this is not to oversell Apple's position. We're going to take the wins that we can get. We're always happy for Apple to have a win here on this channel. However, the overall smartphone sales in India were flat at 152 million units. Samsung took the top spot at 18% of those smartphone sales. Apple did not make it in the top 5 overall, but they did make a new sales record in the premium market. So they have managed to surpass the 10 million unit mark in shipments, and they captured the top position in revenue in a calendar year for the first time. Apple is also offering higher trade-in values, which presented an appealing proposition for customers to switch to iOS. So Apple still took the top spot in market share, but Apple took the top spot in revenue for a calendar year. So good job, Apple. Go keep doing it. Like I said at the beginning, full steam ahead. Keep this ball rolling. You're doing great. And that's news for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got questions or concerns, leave them in the comments down below. We'll talk about it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Apple News and Opinions video. Take care now. Bye-bye.
And he's out at first. Going.